In a world painted with words lived a boy named Hiren. For him, books weren't just paper and ink, they were portals to other worlds, galaxies of stories waiting to be explored. His room was a library, a treasure trove of rare and ancient volumes, each whispering tales of forgotten times. His chronic illness trapped him at home, making the outside world feel distant. His only companion on this confined journey was Zoya, his nurse, but more than that, his friend, his anchor in a sea of solitude. She was the one who brought him his meals, his medication, and most importantly, laughter. One quiet afternoon, sunlight streamed through the window, illuminating dust motes dancing in the air. Hiren was lost in a particularly ancient-looking book, its pages brittle with age. His fingers traced the faded ink, his eyes widening with every word. He called out for Zoya, his voice trembling with an excitement she had not heard in years. "Zoya, look at this! You won't believe it!" He pointed to a passage describing a great magician from ancient Egypt, a man named Marlon who lived 1,000 years ago. According to the text, Marlon possessed a robe woven with magic, a garment said to hold incredible power. A map, a series of cryptic clues leading to the robe's hidden location. "It says the robe is real, Zoya, and it tells you how to find it." His heart hammered against his ribs. Hope, a feeling he had long suppressed, bloomed in his chest. Could this be it? A chance to change his fate? There was just one problem. The clues were written in an ancient Egyptian dialect, a language lost to time. The symbols were like intricate puzzles, their meanings shrouded in mystery. Hiren knew he could not decipher this alone. He and Zoya decided to seek help. They found a university professor, a renowned expert in ancient languages. The old man, with his spectacles perched on his nose, peered at the text. He sighed, admitting that the dialect was exceptionally rare even for him. He couldn't provide a direct translation, but he gave them a crucial starting point, a bird's-eye view of the language's structure and some key symbols. He explained the philosophy behind the script, how it connected symbols to celestial movements and natural elements. The rest, he said, was up to them. They left the professor's office with a mix of disappointment and determination. The key was still locked, but now they had a sliver of light to guide them. Back in his room, Hiren stared at the book for days. The weight of his decision pressed down on him. His mind became a battlefield. One side screamed caution, reminding him of his fragile health, the risks, the sheer impossibility of it all. The other side, fueled by a desperate spark of hope, whispered of adventure, of magic, of a life beyond his four walls. He looked at his reflection, seeing the pale, tired boy staring back at him. He thought about his condition, the constant limitations, the shadow that followed him everywhere. Then, a profound clarity washed over him. He realized that life, no matter how long or short, is meant to be lived. Facing the inevitable was a reality for everyone, but hiding from life was a choice. He decided he would rather chase a glimmer of magic and fail than wither away in a comfortable prison of what-ifs. He had to try. He took a deep breath and called for Zoya. He laid out his entire plan, his voice steady, his eyes burning with a newfound resolve. He would go to Egypt. He would find Marlon's robe. Zoya listened, her expression shifting from confusion to shock, then to deep concern. "Hiren, are you serious? Egypt? It's too dangerous." "Your health," she pleaded, her voice softened. She saw the unwavering conviction in his eyes. This wasn't a fleeting fantasy. It was a deep, burning need. She saw the boy who had been trapped for so long finally choosing to break free, even if it was for a mad, impossible quest. Looking at her friend, her patient, she knew she could not let him go alone. A slow smile spread across her face. "All right," she said, her voice steady and brave. "If you're going, I'm right there with you." The journey to Egypt was a whirlwind of new sights, sounds, and smells. The bustling streets of Cairo, the scent of spices in the air, the sheer scale of the ancient world. It was overwhelming and exhilarating for Hiren. Their quest began in earnest, following the cryptic clues from the book. Their first puzzle led them into the labyrinthine alleys of an old market, searching for a sun symbol carved into a stone that drinks the morning light but never casts a shadow. After hours of searching, they found it hidden beneath a well, only visible at a specific time of day. This unlocked the next clue. Their path was fraught with challenges. They navigated treacherous desert landscapes under the scorching sun, their water supply dwindling. They deciphered riddles that tested their wits and their knowledge of the professor's lessons. In a forgotten tomb, they had to align a series of rotating discs to match a star constellation mentioned in the book, all while the chamber slowly filled with sand. Zoya's quick thinking and Hiren's sharp intellect were a perfect combination. With every problem they solved, their confidence grew, and so did their reliance on each other. One by one, they unraveled the magician's secrets, their journey taking them deeper into the heart of ancient mysteries. They found hidden passages behind waterfalls and deciphered codes written in starlight on the floor of desert caves. They were so close. They had solved every puzzle but one. The final inscription. It was the most complex of all, a series of symbols that didn't seem to follow any of the rules the professor had explained. They tried every combination, every interpretation, but the meaning remained elusive. The professor's hint had gotten them this far, but it wasn't enough to unlock the final secret. Days turned into a week. They sat before the final gate, the magical robe just beyond their grasp, yet impossibly far. Exhaustion and disappointment settled over them. They had failed. The journey had ended not with a magical prize, but with a dead end. As they prepared for the long journey home, a quiet understanding passed between them. They hadn't found the magical robe, but the silence was not filled with regret. They looked back at the deserts they had crossed, the tombs they had explored, the riddles they had conquered together. Back in Hiren's room, things were the same, yet completely different. The books were still there, the world outside the window was still the same, but Hiren wasn't the same boy. The adventure had infused him with a vitality that no medicine could provide. He had lived more in those few weeks than he had in years. And Zoya was no longer just his nurse. She was his partner in adventure, his confidant, his closest friend. They had faced the impossible together and discovered something far more valuable than a magical garment. Their bond, forged in the deserts of Egypt and tempered by shared challenges and laughter, had become unbreakable. They didn't find the magic they were looking for, but in each other, they found something truly magical. A connection that was more than friendship, a shared story that would be their greatest treasure. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed our story, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more adventures.